my name is Julia Mason. Welcome to Dandelion Dreams podcast. I really hope you can hear me over the sheep. Hopefully they'll quiet down. They always get a little bit loud when I come around because they expect me to feed them all the time. So anyways, today I'm recording from the lambing shed. That is because partly so you can see the lambs and partly because I don't really have anywhere else to podcast right now because everybody else is doing stuff in the house. So, yeah, it has been a very long time since I podcasted. That's partly, it's due to a lot of things. Partly, one of my beloved cats passed away last month, and it was around the time when I was supposed to record, and it just really didn't feel like it. He was 16, and that's, you know, to be expected. He was not ever a super healthy animal. I mean, he was mostly healthy, but it wasn't like he was really athletic or anything. So, and he had had some stomach issues for a few years, and he had really rebounded over the last year, but it's just all of a sudden he went off his food, and by that night I was pretty certain he was going to pass away, so I got to say goodbye and everything, and then the next morning he had just passed when I came into the house. So, so that was really sad. Yeah, it sucked, but I've had a little bit of time. That was about a month ago, and he was a good kitty. So that was Speedo. I think he's been in the podcast a couple of times. Wash is younger and he's fine still. But anyway, so I kind of didn't feel like podcasting, and then we were just really busy, and then lambing season kicked off. I had written my dates wrong last time, so I had said that we were going to be lambing, starting lambing March 20th, and that was the complete opposite of the truth. I had written my dates, my breeding dates, from the first bred at the bottom to last bred at the top, and when I looked at my list, I didn't realize I had written it that way. So when I looked at it, I thought, okay, first lambs are due when the last lambs are actually due. So that was wrong. So we had an unexpected lambing, and I referenced my book and was like, oh crap. So we got everybody set up here in the lambing shed, and everything has been going really pretty well. We had our second lambing was a stillborn, which was quite scary because she was a couple weeks early lambing, and the lamb had started to decompose a little bit, so it made me worried that we were going to have some disease issues, but thankfully nobody else has had a stillborn, so it was a fluke thing with her, and she had just a single. And unfortunately we've had a lot of singles this year. We tried feeding like decent quality grass hay instead of, we didn't have good pasture at breeding time, which, wow, I wish she would shut up. I wonder if one of her lambs is not in here. I should probably check. I'll be right back. Okay, she's fine. I had let the sheep out of the pen today to graze, so I was suddenly worried that maybe one of her lambs hadn't got back in. Come here, little one. Come here. Hi. Oh, this is one of her babies. Oh, tiniest little kitten. Ow, that's my nose. Oh, sorry, sheep are bumping the stand. This lamb is still on her mom, but she's getting supplemented with bottles once a day, as well as a bunch of the other ones. Just, as I was saying about the poor nutrition, the ewes aren't in as good a condition as they should be. Nicholas wanted to try and go for non-GMO feeding this year, so we fed grass hay, and it was really hit or miss, the quality that we could get. We were buying 1,300 pound bales, and so some weeks we'd have really nice hay, and some weeks we'd have really poor quality hay, because we were buying them like as the season went along, instead of all from one source. So yeah, so the sheep were not in as good of body condition as I would like to see them at all, and they, like I said, we didn't have good pasture at breeding season, so we ended up getting a lot of singles because they were just getting grass hay instead of good pasture or alfalfa. So that is a sucky. Next year we're going to feed non-GMO alfalfa pellets around breeding season, I think. We might just go back to feeding alfalfa, regular alfalfa, which is probably GMO, just because of cross-pollination and such. Just because we've always had really good results lambing when we fed alfalfa. Like I said before, I was worried about the alfalfa creating really large lambs, but if we breed to a polypay ram, we get more reasonably sized babies. She's a couple weeks old. And she was the tiniest one. But we get more reasonably sized babies, so I think we'll be okay breeding to the polypay ram and feeding alfalfa, or feeding alfalfa and grass hay mixed. So anyways, yeah, so that being said, we had a lot of singles, and so far we have 20, I think we've had 22 lambs born, including the stillborn, and then one of the lambs got crushed by their mom, which was really sad. He was like several days old and doing really well, and had already gotten his ear tag and everything, and then just came out like everybody was fine, went in for dinner, came out, and his mom had laid on him. It was really disappointing. It makes me really sad when we have losses, obviously, and the lambs are like really endearing and cute. But anyways, so yeah, it's been a good season. Last year was really stressful because we had a lamb get sick, and then like she got, I think, navel ill, which developed into joint ill, and in the whole process we tubed her, which is where you put a tube down into their stomach and give them milk, and we used too rich of a formula, and that gave her scours. So then she had scours, which is diarrhea, for a week, and it was horrible and very touch or go the whole time. They are chewing on my fingers like crazy. Look at this. Ouch. You guys. Bunch of bottle babies. So like I said, I'm just supplementing them with bottles to make sure they're getting enough, because their moms are not in good condition. So anyways, then we had a lamb, or a goat, born with white muscle disease, which is selenium deficiency, and he had the same problem of getting scours and having to be in the house, and ugh, it was horrible. I don't ever want to have to do that again. So this year we had a couple lambs come up with fevers, and I was checking temperatures really regularly with a rectal thermometer, and just treating right away, like not waiting until it was obvious that they were sick, you know. So we didn't have any of that drama like we did last year, because I was more on top of it and learned from last year's experience. So I think the reason that we got fevers this year was because the temperature swings have been really drastic, from almost 70 degrees down to freezing, and it was kind of humid, so the bedding in their stall, even though it has fairly good ventilation in here, the bedding in the stall is decomposing, and if you sit on it, ouch, you've got teeth now. It is like 70 degrees, like it's very, very warm, and I think it's just kind of off-gassing a little bit, and so the air quality isn't really great if they are in the jugs, which a jug is like that board there. We make little 4x4 square pens for their first 24 hours. They're in there with their mom so that they bond and don't get mismothered to somebody else. And this ewe over here, her pen looks like a mess because it's all these different panels tied together, because she is letting anybody nurse from her, which is really bad because her lambs aren't going to get enough milk if she does that. So she's in segregation. She's in the, yeah, solitary, because, yeah, and she will not stay, she won't just stay put. So I've had to put like really tall panels and stuff, because she keeps trying to jump out and be with the general population. So yeah, so that's all the sheepy stuff. I think I got to pull some triplets, which was exciting, and reorienting them, and yeah, it's been fun. I really, really enjoy the birthing and helping with the birthing. We had a jumbo lamb, I don't know where he is at right now, but like a 15-pound lamb born, who was out of our Glen Forest ram, and didn't realize that ewe was bred by him, but it is what it is. So he turned out huge, and she had a little bit of a struggle getting him out, so I helped her deliver him. And other than that, most of the births have been pretty uneventful, and yeah, it's really fun. I am enjoying lambing season a lot. I wish we had more sheep actually, because there's so much waiting between each ewe now. It's like one day we had 3 births and then we had days of nothing, and so it's really tedious to get up every 2 hours at night and come out and check them, and then check every 2 hours all day to then, you know, not have any lambs born. So far we've only had like 1 or 2 night births, which is really lucky. We started feeding during the nighttime, a little bit before lambing season started. It's better if you do it further in advance, but if you feed them at night, it encourages them to give birth during the daytime because they're busy at night eating and then chewing their cuds. So yeah, that has been really nice, not having a lot of nighttime births, but I've still had to get up and come out and check on them, so I'm a little bit tired. But yeah, so we have 1 lamb, or 1 ewe lamb, first timer due. And so, and then 1 sheep that was supposed to be due who doesn't appear to be bred. So I don't know whether she miscarried or if she just never got bred. So we have to decide whether we want to give her another try next year or sell her. Yeah, they usually will give them like 2 strikes before they get sold. And not part of the breeding season or breeding system anymore. What am I trying to say? Breeding program. Thank you. But yeah, anyways, I have a lot to cover, so I should probably move on. The other thing was that I had talked about last time breeding Whiskey and Poppy, and we did end up going to Enterprise to breed Whiskey to one of Jim's dogs, and so now I think it's sometime in April when they're due, so that's coming up already. So we should have 2 litters of puppies a couple weeks apart from each other, and I hope that goes well, because that's another really tiring, a lot of work process. And Poppy, I didn't notice this before. Poppy's my girl. I hadn't really paid that close attention to her papers other than just looking them over to see where she came from and everything. But I didn't pay attention to her litter size. And the other day, I noticed that she had 10 siblings, I think. It was 9 or 10 siblings. So that's a lot of puppies. I think it was 10 puppies total, so 9 siblings. So now I'm a little terrified. I'm a little worried that she's going to have a giant litter of puppies. Shush. Just go find your lamb. Yeah, so that could be scary. So we'll see. Hopefully that all goes well, and I'll give you guys an update on that when they start coming. But anyways, I am sorry I talked about farm stuff first this time. Sunshine is shining in on me now. I have a really hard time talking about the knitting and then talking about the farm stuff second. I don't know why. It's just like my brain feels too cluttered if I talk about it not in that order. So, yeah, so now good Lord, everyone's loud. Now I will talk about knitting stuff. So, I might need to move. Just sit over here like this. Okay. The first finished object, well, it's not really finished, almost finished object I have is this octopus, who is a gift for a friend. I was going to make them a baby blanket and gave up halfway through because it was too tedious, and turned it into a cowl, which I love, so I felt guilty for stealing her gift. That's more than a year overdue. So this is for her older daughter, and then I just need to knit his eyes. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do them like the pattern says or steal some eyes from a different pattern that I like better, but we'll see what I decide. So yeah, today I just knitted his bottom. I ran out of the blue yarn and had to use this, and I think it looks okay. So I knitted his bottom, and I it said to bind off this piece, because you knit from the center out and then bind it off and then sew it. But instead I just left it on the needles and like Kitchener stitched it to this, like the raw edge of this to the finished edge of this, and it actually was really fun to do and worked out really well. So I'm pretty happy with that, and I didn't have to bind off. Haha, like 96 stitches or something. I don't love binding off, so that was cool. And that is, oh, I'm so glad to be done with this. It was a tedious project. It was not my favorite. I can't escape the sun. I would move over a little bit. I guess I could. There were lambs there, and now they've moved. Okay. Now you can see babies down here. Kind of. So that's my first sort of finished object. I also have, I'll just show you a test knit that I did next. This is Felicity's Brioche Heaven Mini, and this is by Paige with Knit Diaries. And I'm really, really pleased with how it came out. It's really adorable. She actually does wear it, which is shocking to me. Initially, she was acting like she wasn't ever going to wear it, and I was like, no, why did I go through all of that work? Because it was a lot of brioche, and mostly the thing that was tedious about it was I did a lot of color changes. So it, you know, from like blue and green to the gold, and then to green and black to green and purple to blue and purple to blue and gray, and like I just switched something up all the time. And I spit felted all of the ends together so that I wouldn't have to weave in any ends, which was nice because I don't want to weave in that many ends in brioche. It would have been so many. It's also reversible, which I think is pretty rad. So the spit felting was great, except for that I just got tired of doing it. It was getting annoying. I kept getting wool in my mouth because I don't like to spit in my palm. I just usually stick the end of the yarn in my mouth, which is kind of gross. But either way, it's kind of gross, but I prefer it to weaving in ends. So that's that. I'm really pleased with this pattern. It also was supposed to have a button band, but I really liked the way that it looked without it. So, and my raw edge here was really messy and stupid looking, so I just did a single crochet border, and I'm quite pleased with how that turned out. I think it looks really nice and clean. I mean, relatively. It looks a lot better than it did before I did that detail. So yeah, the yarn that I used was all these fingering weights are like a Highland wool from Cloudborne Fibers. They were really cheap. I think they were $5 per 100 grams. They're not overly soft, but they are fine. And this white wool it's quite fuzzy. It was from I Love This Wool, which is the same company that makes I Love This Yarn. And they generally do a lot of acrylics that are actually fairly nice for acrylic. And this is their wool version of their yarn. And it was really, really cheap. I think it was, on sale, it was like $3 or $4 for more than 100 grams. And I think normally it's like $5 or $6 for 100 grams. So that was really cheap. And the white is actually quite soft. I bought naturally brown yarn from them too. And it was significantly scratchier. It's just a different type of sheep, I assume. And yeah, I really like their white. I would buy it again and knit with it as it is or dye it. And then this gold, I love this yarn. It was Knit Picks Swish, I think, and I don't recall the colorway. It was a hand-me-down from my sister. I don't know whether or not they make it anymore or what, really anything about it. But it was a really old yarn, I mean, relatively, from my sister. I'm sure I've had it for like 10 years, and I finally found something for it to do, and it's very soft. I really enjoyed working with it. So all in all, I'm really, really pleased with this project. It got a little bit monotonous by the end, even though I did the smallest size. I think I don't like doing the shorter rows, not the short rows, but like just this section, and then having to match the color up so that the stripes were the same on each side, and then matching the sleeves so that the stripes were the same. That is tedious to me. So that was the only thing I didn't like about it, but that was because I chose to make it that way. So, I mean, the color thing. So yeah, overall, really, really happy with that project. Paige released that pattern already, so if you're interested in making a kid size one or an adult size one, it's called Brioche Heaven and Brioche Heaven Mini, all one word. except for the mini part. So that's, my test knit is done. I think I'm going to stop. I always say this. I'm like, I'm not going to do test knits anymore because it just stresses me out because I feel like that pressure that I have to work on this one thing. But then I always find myself signing up for them. So I don't know if I can help myself, but we'll see. Next I have, let's see. I don't know why I'm doing that with my voice. In this bag I have something kind of exciting. I was actually hoping to have these released by now, but lambing season's kind of got in the way. So first what I made was, I think I've showed you my meridian knits. They didn't have a name before. And I've changed the pattern since knitting this. This is making me want to pick these up again. I never have knitted my second one, and now the weather's kind of too nice to need them. But I designed this pattern for a different yarn that I had, and it was the wrong gauge, so I switched it up, but I still really like it. I changed the pattern so that it's one row wider, and I added a row to the middle, and I think I like that, the way that it looks a little bit better, and it makes it a little bit bigger, and makes the finger decreases make a little bit more sense. I'd never put a thumb in this one because I planned to rip it out and re-knit it, and I changed this side to match this where there's a white line there. I think that's what I did. So I actually sent this off for testing and have had a couple of people knit it so far, and I'm really excited. It's really exciting to see my pattern get made and to like actually officially finally write a pattern. I've put it off for a long time because I started making up a few things like a year ago, and now I'm finally getting around to writing them down. So that's really exciting. It was really like starting to kind of flow, and then lambing season started, and I've kind of just started doing really plain, blah, mindless things. Sorry. For a bit to give my brain rest. So I'm feeling, after I actually didn't wake up last night, even though I was supposed to, just slept through my alarm. And so I feel very well rested today after sleeping from like 11:30 to 6. That was like, whoa, that's so much sleep. Go away. I don't know who your baby is. I'd have to look it up in my phone. You had a single? This one right here. Take it. Go see your mom. There you go. Thank you. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, so then I designed a mitten set for Felicity because she was wanting mittens for a long time, and I looked up Selbstvater patterns, and I didn't find anything that I really loved that was also in English. So I decided to just design something myself, and once again I've changed it a little bit. I've cleaned up this little weirdness here in the final pattern and everything, but I'm super pleased with these. I think they're really cute and just sweet. And I've had several people finish these in testing, and got really good feedback from people. It's crazy how you can think something's kind of done and easy to understand, and then you have someone read it and they find like 30 mistakes. It's amazing. So that was great. I had a lot of people give me advice, and I think I have it pretty much sorted out. I just need to reformat the pattern so that the charts are actually in the pattern and not separate, and then I will have to figure out how to post things on Ravelry. So I'm thinking I will be posting these, and then I also designed a mini version of them, which is just a smaller motif, and this is for these were for Daisy, so they're like a 1 to 2 year size, and these are the 3 to 4 year size. So I have 3 different patterns, actually 4, because I then also designed an adult size of the meridian, or excuse me, Omlarian. These are the Omlarian mitts, or mittens, and I designed an adult pattern but haven't knitted it yet. Somebody else tested it for me already, and it looks really cool. So so there will be 3 mittens that all match, from littles to adult, and I think I'm going to just charge $2 a pattern for the little ones and the middle-sized ones and the big ones for each set. And then if you wanted to buy them as a package, you could get like all 3 sizes for $5.50 or something, just to give you a tiny discount. I don't know if that's whether people would rather pay $6 and get all 3 automatically, or be able to buy them separately, because if you only have an older kid, you don't really need the baby ones, or whatever. So that's kind of what I was thinking. If you want to let me know in the comments whether that makes sense to you, the formatting, doing it that way versus having them all just come together, that'd be cool. I'd be curious to know what people have to say about that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I really enjoyed designing these, and I have a lot of other ideas, and this is another thing that I designed that I, that's not creepy at all, would like to write a pattern for. To me, I feel silly writing a pattern for something that's kind of simple like this, but it's like, at the same time, I buy patterns like this, so I might as well do it. But yeah, it's just a very simple color work pattern with a little bit of lace detail here, which could easily be excluded if you didn't want to do lace. And it was a really fun, addictive knit, so I could see it being a pattern people would like to try. So I should write that up too. And then I have a shawl that I need to do as well. But anyways, it's really fun. I am enjoying it a lot. I didn't ever think I would be interested in designing because of the math and not feeling confident. But I am starting to get there. I feel like everyone wants to design, and I always feel like I don't have something unique to offer. And like there's enough people doing it. I don't need to get into the fray. But it's not like I want to become like the next big thing or anything. I just think I have stuff I want to design, so I might as well, because it's fun. If it wasn't fun though, I don't think I would force myself to do it, because I have a lot of things I need to do anyways. So then, my last 2 things to show you. Oh, I have another finished object. I found an article by It's a Stitch Up on Instagram, and it was basically about making socks that will actually last, because as you know, I enjoy the process of knitting socks, but they frustrate me to no end because sheep is breathing weird. Because as soon as you're done with them, you shove them in your shoes or you wear them around the house and they get all felty and look like they're going to fall apart after just barely being worn. And I couldn't get a good fit with my afterthought heels. So I got kind of discouraged and was like, socks are stupid, I'm not going to knit them. But that article really inspired me to try again. Gosh dang, this sun is annoying. So it's basically about how to knit socks that will actually last and fit. And it's funny because it, in a lot of ways, was basically like, go back to making socks the way you were taught to make socks originally for me. Like, I was taught to do a heel flap and gusset originally, and there's a lot of other fun heel techniques out there that I enjoy doing more. They're more fun than the heel flap, but they don't give me a very good fit, so that causes a lot of sliding and friction, and that wears your socks out. So I think there was that. There was also knitting at a tighter gauge, using a sock with more, or a sock yarn with more plies, and that was and basically knitting to fit your foot correctly and not having it be too big or too small. So yeah, really great article. I definitely recommend it. And so I decided to start with socks for the girls, since that's a less of a commitment. And I knitted Daisy these little baby sockies. I actually was meaning to make these for Felicity, and they came out way too small. This is the last bit of my Life in the Long Grass sock in the colorway Confetti, and I made a like bralette out of the rest of this originally, and this is all I had left over. Excuse me, I got hiccups. And then this is the leftovers from my Reina shawl. That was one of my first really favorite projects out of nice wool yarn. So this is super soft, really, really soft. I have some knitted items that somehow end up in the wash, and certain family members will throw them in the dryer, which frustrates me to no end. But they're, you know, super wash, so it's not the end of the world. But it makes your yarn scratchy, like so scratchy. So I'm trying to protect all the baby sockies and not let them get in the laundry, because they're so soft and nice, and then they get thrown in the dryer and they get scratchy. So yeah, so I did this in the classic heel flap and gusset, and I did a slip stitch, knit stitch, and then on the reverse side I did slip stitch, purl stitch. So it was like double thick on the heel flap, which was probably overkill, because I don't think Daisy's going to do a whole lot of wear and tear on her socks, especially considering she always wears those leather baby shoes over them, the Robies. So whatever. But yeah, I'm really pleased with how these turned out, and they look really cute on her, and they're very soft and pretty yarn. So that was fun. And then I knitted Felicity, or I'm knitting Felicity these socks that are Cloudborn Fibers sock yarn, just in plain colorways. And I'm just finished turning the heel and picking up the stitches on the side, and it looks like kind of a mess on the needles. So you have like 4 turns, so lots of loopy things in your cable, but which is a little bit precarious, but it's okay. And I learned a fun new technique for changing yarn colors, where you just fold the yarn around itself and then knit with it so that it weaves in your ends at the same time, and that's pretty cool. Maybe I should do a video of that or something, but that's been really fun with this, because now I don't have to weave in ends when I'm done. Hopefully these turn out to be the right size. I started these once before on a smaller needle size, and they were turning out to be Daisy sized again, and I was like, Daisy has 3 pairs of socks now and Felicity has none, so I'm going to start over. And I'm glad that I did. Felicity picked these yarn colors, so I really wanted these to actually be for her and not get given to Daisy again. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying the sock knitting, and especially the kids' socks, because like I said, they don't put as much wear on them anyways, so it's fun to make them for them. And it's like, it seems silly because you spend days and days knitting them, and then it's just socks at the end, but it makes me so happy putting them on them. Like, I don't know what it is about putting hand knit socks on kids, it's just like thrilling. So that's that, and then I have one more design that I will show you guys, and then I have a little bit of stash enhancement, and then I'm done, I swear. Oh my goodness, this has been long. So hello, I don't know if you can see her, Mama. This design is kind of out of my depth. I'm really loving the way it's turning out. I don't know if I will be able to grade it for larger sizes, and I feel like I chose one of the more challenging garments to grade, which is a bra. There aren't a ton of bra patterns, and I really wanted something cool for myself, and I really would love to write up a pattern for it and share it, but I don't know about grading it, because people have larger breasts or smaller breasts, or bigger ribs and smaller ribs, and I don't really know how to pair that all together. I have a fairly easy body to knit a bra for. What? Did that sentence even make sense? I have a fairly easy body to make bras for. Yeah. Because I have like small breasts, so with the difference between the breast and the ribs is not a big difference. It's not like I have to do any increasing really. Just what I've done instead is used brioche to create like a stretchier panel in the front to accommodate my breasts. So that will work for smaller people, but I don't know, there will probably be some increasing that will have to happen for people with larger breasts. And yeah, I don't know if it will translate for different sizes of people. But and I don't want to be exclusive in making a pattern that's just for smaller people, but, or like symmetrical like me, like not symmetrical like me, but proportionate to me people. Anyways, yeah, I would like to be inclusive, but that could be really challenging. So, and I'm not that advanced of a pattern designer, so we'll have to see what I can come up with. But so far, I have 2 colors of Malabrigo sock yarn. This is the blue colorway that is called something crap. I don't know. And then Ivy is the green colorway, and I have them marled at the bottom, which is making for a nice stiff band that has got a lot of stretch, but is it has structure to it, so it's not going to roll up on itself, which was important to me. And then in the back, I've continued the marling and the ribbing, and I've stopped and I'm not knitting in the back right now. I'm just working on the front, but this is going to split off into straps that will cross, and then I will Kitchener them to the front straps. And so these I'm decreasing. I'm doing a 4-stitch decrease in the front. It's actually a little bit off-centered towards the front more, because when I did it centered to the cup, it was like pointing off in different directions, which looked really dumb. So, and that's another thing, I'm like, would that be how you need to do it for everyone, or would different size breasts need different position for the decrease? I don't know. So, this might just be a personal project, I don't know. But I think it's a really delightful construction, and it's been really fun and been a really creative process, so I want to share it with people, but we'll see. So yeah, the brioche just creates a natural, I didn't have to do any increasing for the breast area. It's kind of a stiff fabric down here, and then it just gets stretchy all of a sudden up here. So that's really fun, and it fits really well. And I had to reknit this whole band once because I made it too big originally, and that was very frustrating because this was a little bit hard on my hands actually. And then, yeah, so I'm going to do a bunch more decreases until it's like this. And then I'm going to use, I think, a linen stitch for the strap to give it some rigidity and keep its shape so it doesn't stretch out like a lot of straps will tend to do. So I'm really excited about all of the details that I've thought up for this pattern, and I'm really proud of it and having a lot of fun with it. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually turn it into something that people can use. So I don't know. I don't know if there's like people who will help with that, or who might be interested in helping with that, who have more experience. But I don't, like I said, I don't foresee any of my patterns becoming like the next big thing or anything, but it is fun to share them and to see other people knit something that you made up. It's really pretty thrilling to see something that I thought up and see somebody else making it is really exciting for me. So yeah, that's that. Don't have a name for it yet, and it could still fail, I guess. Although at this point, I'm feeling optimistic about it working for me. Yeah, so don't steal my idea. I have been working on this one for actually quite a while because I keep getting busy with other things and casting on new things, because I like the whole sweater I think I did in between. What's that sound? Oh, it's a goat. Okay. I also have one more goat who is due to kid. So yeah, that could be happening. I should probably check on that in a bit. Okay, and then stash enhancements. Golly, if you are still watching, you're amazing. I don't know how you do it. I have a wonderful gift from my mother-in-law. This is this beautiful yarn. I love it. It's like camo-y, which is really fun. Nicholas really wanted me to make him a camo colored hat. I'm like, oh, I wish I had this yarn back when I knitted his hat. This is baby alpaca yarn, and there's the tag. This is a birthday present from my mother-in-law, and yeah, my birthday's this week, which I never ever feel prepared for my birthday, or like, yeah, ready to celebrate it, because it's always during lambing or calving or whatever we're doing. It's always kind of in the middle of a lot of other stuff. So yeah, probably never celebrate my birthday again. Last year I actually went out with my mom and went shopping, and that was really fun. I don't think that's going to happen this year because my sister is going to have a baby soon, and so she's busy helping. But yeah, so that's that. It's funny, the night before she gave this to me, I was telling Nicholas, I was like, I'm surprised no one ever buys me knitting stuff for my presents. Like, it seems like I should be one of the easiest people to buy presents for, because I like yarn and like knitting needles. Like, it just seems like such an obvious answer. And then the next day Dan got me this, and I was like, oh yay. But yeah, she was, and I told her that, and she's like, I don't know if you'll like it. I'm like, basically I'll like pretty much anything. I'm not picky. You can always make something cool. And then I bought a bunch of stock yarn, or base yarn base, from Naked Yarns. This is their fingering weight, 90% fine wool superwash, and 10% mulberry silk. And I wanted to try that as a natural sock base and see if I can get away without using polyamide. And it's really nice and soft. It hasn't even been washed since I've had it, so I know it should soften up a little bit after that process. But I also bought Pro Chemical dyes. I think I got like 10 of them or something, maybe 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there. Different colors, and so I have been procrastinating trying it because it's intimidating, which is weird. Like, people say that it's not hard, so it probably isn't, but it seems hard to me. So I don't know if I'm going to be successful, but I mean, in the end, no matter what I do, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be yarn, and if it's a little bit wonky or whatever, it's still gonna be pretty. Like, I don't know, it may not be beautiful and incredible like the experienced hand dyers yarns, but it's probably going to be decent and going to look pretty nice knitted up. So I need to really just do it. I want to try it. So I'm really excited to try dyeing that. I have 5 skeins in here. 2 of these are going to be for my giveaway for our New Year's Cardical. I haven't forgotten, you guys. I am going to give away prizes for the New Year's Cardical. We have to select winners. It's just been a really hectic month. So I need to dye these and try it, and then pick the 2 that I don't like and give them away. No, I mean, probably, but they'll be great, I'm sure. If they turn out really terrible, though, I'll keep them and find something better for a prize. So yeah, I guess that's everything. Thank goodness. Yeah, hopefully this isn't too crazy long, but I really, really appreciate you guys watching. If you want to comment, I would love your opinions on, like I said, how to format the pattern, whether they should be separate or put them together. And yeah, anything you guys want to say, feel free to comment below. Please like this video and subscribe if you can. That would really help. And I really just appreciate you guys for watching and for coming on this journey with me. You can find me on Instagram as Dandelion Dreams Podcast, and on Facebook as Dandelion Dreams Knits, and on Ravelry as Dandelion's Dream. And yeah, go ahead and follow me all those places if you want, and you can see all of the updates of knitting. And I've been posting a little bit in my stories of our lambs and their funny antics. They are, right now everyone's asleep because they were out all morning, but generally the lambs, when their moms get fed, all run around the pen and act crazy, and that's really fun to watch. So anyways, I thank you guys so much again, and have a great day. Bye.